Now this question comes from Cornwall in Ontario, Canada. Another dipping systems question. Dipping systems and two-part acrylics both use acrylic powders. Are those made from polyethyl methacrylate better than those made from acrylates copolymer? I was taught that any traditional acrylic powder could be used for dipping systems, excuse me, and that some are milled into finer particles and therefore are preferred because they're less cloudy. Well, I don't completely agree with what you were told. There's some fascinating science behind artificial nail powders. All are made in a large tank, but that's about where the similarities end. These powders come in a range of particle sizes that are determined solely by the manufacturing process. The temperature, mixing speed, as well as the concentration and the type of ingredients used are what determine the particle size. So it's a myth that they're ground or milled to a specific size. The size and shape is carefully controlled and based solely on the conditions inside the tank where they're made. Their size and shape is fixed once the mixing is finished. Now these powders come in a range of particle sizes with diameters that are measured in units called microns. 1 micron is 0.001 millimeters, which is about 400 thousandths of an inch. So they're pretty small. Typically, large particle powders range between 80 to 90 microns, and fine powders range between 20 and 40 microns. Now, for your reference, a human hair is typically, for a thin hair, 60 microns, and a thick hair might be 90 microns in diameter. Each of these particles is made of permanently linked together monomers. Imagine pearls on a strand, very much like that. Each particle contains tens of thousands of these strands. A typical powder strand can contain between 50,000 to 500,000 monomers or more. So every particle contains many millions of linked monomers. The monomers can be of one type or it can be a blend of two types of monomers that are reacted together onto the strand. Nail copolymers contain a blend of two types of monomers. For instance, ethyl and methyl methacrylate could be reacted together in a fixed ratio, maybe 1 to 10 or 3 to 7. The ratio determines the physical properties of the final powder. Now, a homopolymer is one that has very different physical properties because it's made using only one kind of monomer. Now, sometimes homopolymers and copolymers are blended together to create special powders with special properties. Also, other additives are adhered to the surface of these powders to control the color, curing time, and in fact, it makes it possible to have a nearly infinite range of powder formulations. Different proprietary ratios or blends create designer polymer powders, which match the properties of the monomer liquid component of two-part systems. Acrylic monomer liquids are blends of several different types of monomers, and their additives help to make the powder's formulas interact better with the liquid, which improves the pickup, workability, leveling, clarity, strength, and durability as well. Now, the same is true for so-called dip systems, which are best used with the powders that are designed specifically to work with these cyanoacrylate monomers. Cyanoacrylates are inherently weak. Therefore, fiberglass or silk are often added to them to make wraps, for instance, or acrylic powders are used to reinforce them. Now, I do not recommend dipping fingers into the powder, unless all that powder is to be discarded. When sprinkling or pouring powder over the surface of the nail or the finger, any powder touching the skin or nail that doesn't adhere should be discarded for sanitary reasons. Now, all of this helps explain why the correct powder should be used with a system of your choice. There's no such thing as a universal powder that works with all systems. Some mistakenly say, a powder is a powder, but that's false. Don't be fooled. Use only the powder that was designed to be part of the system of your choice. Using the incorrect powder can lead to surface breakdown, and it can also cause allergic reactions when the skin is repeatedly exposed to dust and filings.